getting more views or stay at the same level. So they're going to slowly escalate the videos as time progresses, which normally doesn't end well for the creator. So I feel like these channels either go one of four ways. Either they quit, or they pivot their content, or they keep making the kind of videos they're currently making and get arrested, or they keep making the videos they're currently making and prank the wrong person and get hurt. So I guess the big question is, which route will this creator take? I guess we'll only find out with time, but until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, we were gonna do Sonia Massey. This is a horrifying video. We briefly touched on it with a meme. So in Illinois, sheriff's deputies called to a home and then shoots the person that called 911 in her home.
Out to an unnerving
I'm not gonna show you the video.
Where a black woman was killed by a sheriff's deputy.
I don't know how many people have seen it, but it's one of the worst ones I've seen since the Carver shooting.
Yeah.
If people remember that one. One of the, yeah.
911 for help. Shocking body camera footage shows the moments before, during, and after a sheriff's deputy shot and killed 36-year-old mother of two, Sonia Massey, on July 6th. That now former deputy, Sean Grayson, has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Roxana Saberi has more.
They're charging with first degree? I didn't know that.
He looks like a not racist person.
Well, yeah.
Like judging by both his actions and also just, if I didn't know anything, I would say that's definitely a not racist guy.
I don't know if it was his tattoos specifically, but at least one of the cops on the body cam footage, you can see like a black sun tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, classic.
More from Springfield, Illinois, and a warning, the video you're about to see in this story is incredibly disturbing.
The body camera video shows Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson and his partner searching around Sonia Massey's home in Springfield, Illinois, around 1 a.m. after she'd called 911 reporting a prowler.
Sheriff's office.
The officers waited more than 3 minutes before Massey opens the door and don't
something.
hurt me.
I don't know what that is.
Hurt you. You called us.
Okay,
So what'd you hear?
somebody keeps outside my house.
A few minutes later, they
It's like wild that they are aware that this is the person who called them.
Yeah.
And then they still do this execution. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of seem like he went into it wanting to kill somebody.
This is the most, how can I get a Nazi tattoo without it obviously being a Nazi tattoo I've ever seen?
Yeah, maybe he just really loves like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Who knows?
went inside.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
At one point, Massey got up to remove a pot of hot water from the stove.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
But within seconds,
Yeah, the cop himself literally says like, you know.
He's suggesting that she do that.
Yeah.
Like, Christ.
the moment turned tense.
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, that means like I'm not. Why would you suggest I'm doing that?
Shoot your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot. Drop the pot.
Investigators say Grayson fired
on
3
the
times, striking
ground.
Massey in the face. The second officer tried to
like
give the
no way she could have
36-year-old
even
first
touched them with
aid,
that.
even though
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
these
pure
guys,
evil,
these guys
nasty
should fucking
shit.
try. Like,
Grayson
God, dude.
discouraged him.
I'm gonna go get my kid. She's done.
He laughs too. He goes, nah, it's a headshot. Ha, she's done. Look,
Yeah.
She's done.
you can hear it in his voice.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, they say she threw the water when it just fell after she got shot in the head.
Yeah, like out of the
Grayson later described the incident to
ones we've
responding
seen
officers.
where there's like a full recording of it.
She was the only one.
It reminds me so much of like the Carver shooting. She's like, yeah, Jesus.
No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all this is.
Massey was pronounced dead at a local hospital.
It was senseless what he did. And he never should have had a badge and a gun on his hip.
Massey's father, James Wilburn, says seeing the footage of his daughter's death makes him angry and heartbroken.
What's the hardest part about this for you?
The last words that my daughter said to me was, Daddy, I love you. And to know and realize that I won't see her again. I can't talk to her again.
I think they also lied, right? They lied. Classic. They lied about like how she died.
Yeah.
How she was murdered. Instead of that, they went in 6 different police departments. Former sheriff's deputy who fatally shot Sonia Massey held 6 police shots.
Move these guys around like presumed kids. They did the same thing. They just shuffle them around like every county or township.
Yeah. Former sheriff's deputy who fatally shot Sonia Massey in her Illinois home while responding to her call for help has held 6 different police jobs since 2020. Since 2020, in 4 years, the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board confirmed to ABC.
Is there
body camera footage released Monday shows former deputy Sean Grayson yelling at Massey, an unarmed 36-year-old woman and mother of 2, to put down a pot of boiling hot water. The footage
After he told her to do that. After he told her to take it off the stove.
The footage reviewed by ABC News shows that Massey told the deputy, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," and then she apologized after the officer threatened to shoot her. She poured the water into the sink and ducked down behind a counter, covering her face with what appears to be red oven mitt. She briefly rose, and then Grayson shot her 3 times in the face. A review by Illinois State Police found that Grayson was not justified in his use of deadly force. The shocking aspect of this story is not that there was another police killing of an unarmed black woman in her own home, but instead the fact that there was like actually swift criminal punishment for the actual perpetrator.
Yeah,
which is like legitimately shocking.
It's such a low bar, but it was at least.
Apparently he was also discharged from the army for misconduct. Like this dude is,
if you get like dishonorably discharged from the army, you should not be given a job with any sheriff's department or police department. I don't know how that isn't immediately disqualifying.
It's because he got 2 DUIs in 2015 and 2016, so they were like, oh
yeah, this guy has great judgment.
Yeah, that's what.
I don't know how. Like, what is there any other job that people know of where it's like you can that bad and they just move you around? Only a few. It's like cop and priest.
Yeah. State's Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board shows Grayson worked for 6 different departments over 4 years. For the FOIA request, One News found records showing he left the previous departments because he was searching for full-time employment. Before being hired full-time in Sangamon County, Grayson was a full-time officer for the Auburn Police Department and Logan County Sheriff's Office. In one document, Grayson admitted to being arrested previously for a DUI. Court records show he was arrested in 2015 and 2016 on 2 separate incidents. His job with Sangamon County was terminated last week when a grand jury indicted him on 3 counts of first-degree murder and other charges in the shooting of Sonia Massey, a 36-year-old Springfield woman who was shot after making a 911 call. Incredible stuff. Grayson, who is white, has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and physical misconduct in Massey's death. Illinois Law Enforcement Training Standards Board said he had 3 full-time and 3 part-time jobs in 4 police departments and 2 sheriff's offices over the past 4 years, all within the state of Illinois. Grayson was employed in 3 different police departments in 2021 alone. The records show his shortest term of employment was with the Kinsade Police Department, where he was employed for just over 3 months. Records list his reason for leaving as other. His longest term of employment was Sangamon County Sheriff's Office, where he worked for a year and 2 months. Grayson was fired from the Sangamon County last week following Massey's death. He worked part-time at the Pawnee Police Department from August 2020 to July 2021. Reason for listing other, but he had a totem cop skull tattoo. Are you sure? No, that's not a totem.
I don't think that's a totem cop.
Yeah, that's not a totem cop, but it's fine. We know he's
yeah, I mean, we saw him senselessly assassinate someone.
Yeah, that's not a totem cop, but yeah, he assassinated an unarmed black woman in front of our eyes. That usually, and then he also chuckled when he said, "Oh, no, don't waste the med kit on her.
Yeah,
she's dead."
He felt nothing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Her son telling the reporters that they refused to tell him who shot his mom after telling the family it was a suicide earlier.
Well, they told me
the family was
in the hospital, actually. I never got a call from the police or whatever. But they told me that my mom, she had got shot in the eye and it came out her neck. And they didn't tell me who. They were just saying somebody. They never would tell me who. They just kept on saying someone shot her. They would never tell me who shot my mom, though. So, and I think I was the first person to find it out, too. I had to go tell my grandma myself. That's all I can say.
And you kept asking who?
Yeah, they wouldn't tell me at all.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like
It's just, like they told him it was a suit. Like, is anyone else from this department even gonna like lose their job over this? Like, God.
Nope. Shortly after, Grayson can be heard asking dispatchers a question. Does she have any call history for being 1096? Grayson asked at 1:26 a.m. A 1096 call refers to someone suffering from mental health issues. On the body cam video, Grayson can be seen asking Massey multiple questions about her mental health, like whether she has taken any medication. At one point, he even slows down his speech to ask her a question. After Grayson posed the question, a dispatcher could be heard asking if the gunshot wound was self-inflicted. The answer given by deputies is not clear. In a different recording from later in the morning, a dispatcher says the deputy's response was too short and the county office's recording software did not pick it up clearly. From there, dispatch calls in more units to the scene from multiple different agencies. We don't actually know what happened. He just screamed shot fired. Somebody heard. One of the dispatchers heard the gunshots and said female shot in the head, but we don't know if she shot herself or if a deputy shot her, the county dispatcher said. The dispatcher takes a pause and then adds more information. They're now saying self-inflicted, she added. So like their original reporting was just to hide it and make it seem like she shot herself.
Yeah, if this wasn't recorded, like, we would have probably never heard about this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It does make you wonder how many things like this, you know, where we're told it's like a suicide or something.
The reason for dishonorable discharge would be equivalent to a civilian committing a felony. That's how serious his conduct was. Was he honorably discharged or dishonorably? The U.S. Army dismissed for serious. Documents obtained by the Kinsade Police Department where Grayson were previously noted that he was discharged from the Army in 2016 for the Fort Riley Army installation, Kansas for misconduct. Serious offense. Army officials confirmed Grayson was a wheeled vehicle mechanic from May 2014 to February 2016, but declined to provide further details about his discharge. I watched the video. Nobody ever said. No one ever said she shot herself. No, this is after, when they're talking to dispatchers afterwards. Do you not see it? This is WGN9. It's not like some random blog we're looking at. It's local news reporting that went in and talked to and got records with the dispatchers. It's a transcript, chatter. It's not directly from the video that you may or may not have watched. Here's Sonia Massey's dad affirming that this would have gone nowhere if not for the body cam.
I'm calling for sheriff's resignation because I think it's a culture to treat this family this bad, to call these lies. If it were not for that camera footage, we as a people,
This will be a fun report to write.
they lied their way right out of this.
Look at the video of when he steps outside. All the other cops are not even making eye contact with him. It's eerie because you can see immediately they knew he had up. If there was no body camera footage, it wouldn't have mattered. They would have covered for him. I mean, they tried to cover for him.
Yeah.
Now, of course, having said all of this, even though this is dead to rights, like 100% a straight up murder with like pretty much no evidence to the contrary, there are still people all over Twitter that were posting that racist ass like I showed you earlier about how like she was asking for it and that she deserved it. Classic.
Yeah, like she went out of her way to like empty the pot. She was turning the stove off. The cop told her to do that. Like he suggested it. And the I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That's her. She's saying like, why are you even suggesting I would do that?
Yeah. Don't DAs work with police? What interest do they have in prosecuting cops? It depends.
I mean, like with something like this bad, even like the most cynical reading is that like you need to maintain like some level of legitimacy in the eyes of like, you know, in the eyes of your constituents.
Yeah. And also it depends in terms of like, I mean, there are like progressive DAs that like there are reform DAs, right? That right-wing Republicans constantly talk about how like George Soros is funding all around the country or whatever. Like Larry Krasner. Like there are definitely DAs out there now, especially that do put the crosshairs on police malpractice, police misconduct, which is weird because like they technically should be doing that all the time unconditionally. Like you shouldn't be considered like a different kind of DA to do that because the law is the law, right? But they did that. I don't know what else to say about this. People claiming she threw water are so infuriating because they don't stop to think that they're saying some hot water deserves a bullet to the head. That's always what's going to happen. And if there's nothing, they will just lie. And in this circumstance, there's nothing. So they're just lying. If he thought water would be thrown, he should have disengaged. Cops are 100% in the wrong. No, that's not even a thing. Like that's not even.
Yeah, most of the people saying that don't even like believe that. You know,
yeah,
they don't even like believe that she was going to do that.
Yeah, they're not. They're not being serious, especially when the footage doesn't show that anyway. Like she literally puts it down and apologizes, and then still gets shot in the head, and then the cop laughs about it afterwards too. So subtitled Bodge, here's a 4cent fan. Can you explain the psychology behind the shooter doing that on body camera if he didn't have a reason? I don't know. He's a rabid little freak. I don't know. What was the psychology behind Derek Chauvin literally executing George Floyd in front of 45 eyewitnesses in broad daylight by putting his goddamn knee on his neck. Also, I don't think his body camera was on. I think it was the other cop's body cam that was on. That's what caught him. The psychology is cops know that they can fucking get away with it.
Yeah, I mean,
or both were on. Someone's saying shooter's camera was off, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think there's a limited amount to of how much you can get inside someone's head in a given moment. But I don't really think there's anything useful you could ascertain beyond like he just probably wanted to kill somebody that day.
Yeah, he turns his cam on after the shooting, but he keeps the 30. Oh, that's right. So body camera footage always has like roaming footage, so it's permanently on, and it collects data 30 seconds prior and 30 seconds after you turn it on or off. That's actually literally the reason why some cops get caught. Like for example, in Baltimore Police Department, they famously have a case where they would go and like there's a group of like there's like a drug unit that goes in, arrests someone, walks over, dumps a bag of drugs and hides it, walks away from the bag of drugs, turns on his body camera, walks up to the area, the pile that he just neatly organized, conveniently finds a bag of drugs and goes, oh, well, there's drugs here. This arrest is warranted. Meanwhile, because the body camera has roaming footage, they have the 30 seconds prior to him turning on his body camera, and it perfectly corresponds to him literally dumping the drugs there to begin with, only to find it. Yeah, this is a famous case from Baltimore from a couple years back.
I never heard of this.
Yeah, I covered it at the time. See, look at this. Look at this.
If you get like the deck is so stacked for you, if you're a cop and like you get caught doing this, like labor camp. They should make you build civilian F-16s.
I also think like there's other provisions too. Like I think body cameras automatically turn on or automatically start recording when you shoot too. But there's footage of her trying to throw water after the first shot. No, dude, there's no. What are you talking about? No, we just read the reporting on the matter.
Shot.
Yeah, she literally says, "I apologize," gets down, picks her head back up, and then gets shot. I saw the video that makes it look like she throws the pot. People are saying it's AI manipulated footage. I don't know. What? I mean, none of this makes a difference in the equation, for the record.
I mean, she emptied the pot.
What are we talking about?
The first shot came out. Like, what the f are we talking about here?
Trolls are making up shit. Heard about that at work, even though the doctor footage is more likely seen her as losing control of the pot as she falls after being shot.
Or like trying to like hold it up to shield herself or something. Like,
I'm a little bit confused by what people are trying to imply here. If you slow it down, you can see her picking it up a second time right before the shot. I'm not on the cop side, but it's objectively right there. What? There's a big debate surrounding whether or not she threw the pot. Yeah, I don't think it matters when people are debating it. This is the video I saw that I assume people are referring to. Here's the slow motion video of Sonia Massey throwing the pot at the officer. That video literally does not show like any pot or whatsoever.
Yeah, this is
what is in her, like I can't even tell what's in her hand, but that's not even the real video.
Yeah.
And even then, oh wait, no, he says drop the pot and she does, doesn't she? This is before he starts shooting. So I think they doctored it. She didn't throw the pot, but it's in her hands at the time of the shots being fired. Even then, there's no justifiable reason to shoot. Are you serious? Watch it, you're tripping. No, dude is after. Doesn't matter. She goes back up after saying I'm sorry. She puts it down and picks it back up, but the use of force is not justified. She was bent down kneeling when she was shot. Life-threatening cookware versus guns drawn. Any rationalizing to the benefit of the cops is stupid as yeah, like what are we talking about? Stop giving this oxygen. Yeah, I mean, literally this doesn't matter. I don't give a shit that she's holding up the pot. You're out of your mind if you think that is like reasonable use of force there. It's also wild, which is like, it seems like the cops are not on board with this either. Like they swiftly issued charges. Like I think she goes back to pick it up. She goes back to pick up the pot. Because if you're saying drop the pot, drop the fucking pot. Like she drops it, gets down on her knees, goes back up to pick it up. She literally apologized before they muted her. Topic urges as Reddit investigator. Man, shut the up, okay? I know these are not good faith arguments, but for the upcoming week, you're going to be hearing these bad faith arguments. So would you rather me know all of the details in order to address it more efficiently? Or would you rather me just go, oh, sorry, I'm not going to do that? I know, it's stupid as it's just horrific Nazi shit. But ultimately, I want to make sure that I have all of the details. Yeah, also, it's, you know, it doesn't even matter because the cops immediately said that it was self-inflicted.
Right.
classic.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they thought it was justified, they would not have ran with it.
Kamala Harris's first day of campaigning did not go well is the title of Ben Shapiro's video. However, in the real world, I would say raising $80 million, like raising $80 million without even saying your first word as the presidential candidate is pretty solid, I think.
But last night, Kamala Harris did a campaign event. It was really for her own staffers. And she led off by praising Joe Biden. This, by the way, is going to be the chief vulnerability for Kamala Harris. We'll discuss all of her vulnerabilities in a moment. She is not a strong candidate. Her chief vulnerability is she's the vice president of a wildly unpopular administration. This administration does not have a list of accomplishments Americans like. It is amazing to watch all these people come out of the woodwork and declare that Joe Biden actually has been an amazing president. So here is Kamala Harris at the campaign event last night suggesting that Joe Biden has a legacy of accomplishments, which is wild since his main accomplishment is just beating Donald Trump. And then his secondary accomplishment, apparently, according to Democrats, is dying in a debate and dropping out of the race.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history.
Boy, how'd you like 4 years of that?
Okay, if I'm Ben Shapiro and I sound like I have to be shoved into a locker at any moment, I probably won't be making fun of the way people, sound all too much. I mean, it's basically like Ben Shapiro making fun of someone for their height. You know what I mean? Oh, that person is objectively too short to be president. It's like, bro, have you seen yourself? That's crazy. Oh, I can't wait to hear 4 years of that. Solid attack, Ben. You got this.
His accomplishments are burning the Middle East to a crisp, lighting Ukraine.
No, you're not allowed. Someone should send this video to Joe Biden and be like, this is what America's #1 ultra-Zionist thinks about what you had to do in terms of the active genocide that you facilitated in Gaza. I bet he means like, Tel Aviv got drone striked or something, and that's somehow Biden's fault. Well, I guess it is because he didn't stop Israel too early.
Destroying the economy via inflation, destroying whatever possibility there was in building of social fabric through radical social policy. I mean, truly, name the magical accomplishments of Joe Biden other than elevating Kamala Harris to the nomination via proxy. Because again, she has received zero Democratic primary votes ever in her entire life.
Yeah, but she was on the ticket that won the election. You can say she's untested. That's a fear for the Democrats. That's not a concern, or shouldn't be a concern for the Republicans, because you should be excited at the prospect of going up against someone who is so untested and possibly so bad.
So what is her campaign against Donald Trump going to be? She says that she's going to prosecute Trump. Honestly, like, really? Seriously, this is what you got? So Democrats have been trying this crap since 2015. Since 2015, the idea has been Donald Trump is an out-of-the-box criminal, and we are going to prosecute the case against Donald Trump. Okay, guys, good luck with that. Seriously. Kamala Harris, they are trying to make fetch happen by selecting Kamala Harris, and she is trying to make fetch happen by going after Donald Trump on a prosecutorial basis. This is the kind of stuff that jazzes up a very, very small wing of the Democratic base and literally no one else.
No, I think Donald Trump being branded a convicted felon definitely makes a lot of people in the margins, especially in America, who are incredibly reactionary when it comes to criminal justice, go, I'm never voting for a felon. I would absolutely vote for a felon, by the way. I don't give a about that sort of shit at all. But I wouldn't say that I'm the average American voter.
As many of you know, before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
No, she's going to prosecute the president of the...
By the way, this is why I say it's like the lane is wide open for like a charismatic right winger, because like this is it. This is the best you get. That's why I always say it's like ridiculous that people are like, oh, you're a leftist grifter. It's like, dude, I would f***ing clean house. If I wanted to grift, I would grift on the right. I wouldn't grift on extra difficulty mode. This is 3 minutes and 34 seconds, and all he's done so far is like, Like, he's just made these weird noises to be like, that's how Kamala sounds like. That's horrible. You are a nerd, brother. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be out here making fun of people's voices. I do that shit. You're supposed to be the intellectual, not fucking himbo, you know?
She was a really bad prosecutor, by the way. If you don't believe me, go watch episode 1 of our series Scamala, which is all about Kamala Harris. You can go watch that over at Daily Wire Plus right now when you use that 47% off and become a subscriber. Again, it's everything you need to know about.
Damn, they must be on hard times. As a Jewish person, I'm annoyed he can't write proper jokes. Brother, that's like his point of radicalization, literally. Like, you're just describing why he became a right-wing guy. He was a dude in Hollywood, like living in Los Angeles, that tried to make it in Hollywood, failed because he was an objectively bad writer.
You talk about having conceived of the plot for a TV series and worked with Lenny Goldberg.
It was based on Harvard Law School. It was a dramedy. I've written a couple comedies, kind of hour-long dramedies for, spec scripts.
And have they been bought?
No.
A failed screenwriter who then, took all of that animosity that he felt towards Hollywood and turned it into like right-wing reactionary sentiment.
Try it. Seriously, try it. You're going to prosecute. Donald Trump has 100% name recognition. 100%. No one's perception of Donald Trump is going to change from here on out.
True. And that's not a good thing for Trump. That's a very bad thing for Trump.
The question is, can Kamala Harris generate any enthusiasm? And honestly, I haven't seen so much fake enthusiasm for anything in American public life.
Dude, you say facts don't care about your feelings. It's literally a sticker on your laptop. Obviously, tracking enthusiasm is a rather difficult thing to do. Except there is so much momentum in that direction that you immediately saw. Not a Kamala Glazer, not coconut pilled or whatever, just stating facts here. $250 million total raised, with 80 million of that 250 coming straight from small donors through the Act Blue portal. 60% of those donations are first-time donators. 80 million. Donald Trump got shot. He couldn't have raised that kind of money. 80 million in one fucking day, just because, before she even said anything, just because it wasn't Joe Biden. The Democrats were like, oh my God, thank God. 83% of Democrats, after this decision was made, said they were excited at the prospect of the ticket changing. 83%. What are we doing? What are we saying? Is the media routinely lying about how much of a carcass Joe was and tried to keep him in the race desperately till the very last moment? Or are they lying now about the momentum? Which one is it? 60% numbers for first donations this cycle, not necessarily first lifetime donation. Oh, sorry. Did I say lifetime donation? My bad. First donation this cycle. That's still pretty significant. What are we talking about? It's a first donation that a shit ton of people made. You say so Ben Shapiro isn't smart? I don't think Ben Shapiro is stupid. I just think he's bad as a propagandist on this issue. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I don't agree with Ben Shapiro. I don't think he is a good person. I don't like his worldview, but I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a smart guy who is very dishonest, and that's it.
Which is that Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. In this election, it's precisely the reverse. Republicans love their candidate. Overall, Republicans love Trump. They have loyalty to Trump. Democrats are falling in line. No one loves Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has run for president before. She was such a terrible candidate that everyone, including Politico, ran full pieces on how awful her candidacy was. Then she was such a terrible vice president that half her staff quit.
Yeah. He's not wrong about any of this stuff. All of this stuff is correct, except it doesn't matter because she's now the candidate and Democrats love falling in line. People say Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line, but fuck no. Democrats also love falling in line when the general election comes around. Yeah, also staff turnover is pretty funny when talking about Trump on the other side of the ticket as well. You're not wrong. Trump's staff turnover is 92%. Half of them are in jail, and the ones that aren't in jail are fucking actively in witness protection, speaking out against them. Sometimes they are both in jail and also speaking out against them, like the last court case that happened in New York. Any thoughts on anti-Kamala discourse on leftist Twitter? Do you think she's a more progressive candidate than Biden, or do you think she's gonna do genocide but girly pop? I mean, I think she is definitely more to the left of Biden, at least like with the way that she tailored her political career. Having said that, however, genocide but girly pop is probably the likely scenario. But if she wants to win, she can't do that. If she wants to win, she can't do the genocide but girly pop shit. Also, liberals are so funny, or not liberals, sorry, leftists are so funny on Twitter where they're like, oh, dude, I can't believe it. Like, Kamala Harris is a cop. It's like, yeah, I know, dude. Also, the last president and the current president right now, as a matter of fact, is a fucking segregationist, dude. What are we talking about? Like, he's not personally a segregationist. Yes, he was the VP of a black president, which did a lot for him in terms of like the way he is looked at by everybody. But he eulogized the segregationists, and he actually wrote pro-segregation legislation, and on top of that was responsible for the crime bill. You know, he was Jim Crow Joe for a reason.
Reality will set in, I believe, soon enough, because Kamala Harris is not a good candidate, and she has proved that repeatedly. Remember, Kamala Harris, she's only run effectively one competitive race in the last 20 years, and that was for Attorney General of the state of California. She won by 1 point. By 1 point. Then she ran a completely non-competitive race in the California Senate, for the Senate seat in California, against Loretta Sanchez, a fellow Democrat. And then she ran the worst presidential campaign since Rick Perry.
That's weird. You're talking about how she only won something against a fellow Democrat. And then you're talking about her primary defeat, where she ran against other Democrats. Yeah, she lost the primary big time. I don't think individually on her own, I don't think she's the type of person. She's the type of person to be able to like successfully win a primary and then go to win a general election. But we don't have to make those political calculations at this moment because she is the Democratic Party's nominee.
Here's Kamala Harris again, trying to make the pitch. We are not going to go back. We're not.
He and his extreme Project 2025 will weaken the middle class and bring us backward. America has tried.
Ben Shapiro is literally the poster boy for Project 2025. I don't know why he's saying come on. Ben Shapiro directly regurgitates Heritage Foundation talking points. Like, that's what his job is. That's what his entire career is. Why the fuck's he acting like Project 2025 is a problem? I know he doesn't think Project 2025 is a problem.
They do not lead to prosperity. They lead to inequity and economic injustice. And we are not going back.
God, she is so awful. I mean, even the juxtaposition right there of prosperity with economic injustice is truly amazing. Because, again, the opposite of prosperity is poverty.
Wow, dude, you're really killing it. Just say she has no riz. You can say that she is not very energized on that speech, and she's basically repeating the exact script that Joe Biden would have read, but he was unable to read it because he couldn't read anything at that point. You don't have to be like, oh, well, the opposite is prosperity. Opposite of This was really funny. Apparently, they were trying to make this happen too. They were like really mad that I wasn't talking about like Mr. Beast's friend who was being weird in Discord and like talking to minors or something. It's like, even in the video, I'm like, bro, it's a election where like the former president got shot at. Like, I don't got time to talk about YouTube. Like, what are you, insane? They're
like the controversy turns out to be like that she like bought art from Shadman like 7 years ago, right? I think that was like everyone apparently has done that. I had no idea. I barely know who that guy is. I read like a wiki about him, and it's like, hey, a lot of
excuse you were on me for that too. Oh damn, man. Well, you know, like, when you got Jason the Ween doubling his view count when he's trying to desperately farm as much drama as he possibly can. You got to do what you got to do, baby. You know what I mean? Hey, I hope that kickback was worth it.
If I talked about a Shadman scandal on my show, I would be killed by my listeners, and they would be right. They don't care about that.
No, like that
Shadman. Know who that is?
No, that Shadman person is like gross. Even I had like known about him being like a weird dude who's like a. Right. I think he got like arrested or something. And he would like make lolly porn. But ultimately, like, the thing that they immediately ran to wasn't like, oh, this person is like in Discord talking to a 13, 14-year-old. I think it was a 13-year-old or 14-year-old, which is weird and gross. And in my opinion, completely unacceptable. Just don't do that. I don't know how the people do that. But beyond that, they were like, this is how trans people are. And it's like, bro, Dr. Disrespect is a 35-year-old man with a wife and a child at the time who was trying to a minor openly admitted that, okay, said inappropriate messages or whatever, and literally no one was like, this is how every white guy is like. You know what I mean? Like, what the f are we talking about?
Yeah, no. And that, like, guy that she bought or commissioned art from, I'm not really sure, but, like, someone did a thread. Like, apparently, like, tons of weird YouTube people I have not heard of who are all over this thing, like, loved that guy. There was, like, a mega thread.
Yeah, it was
of
so...
Shadman interactions. I had no idea he was, like, that popular and weird.
Dude, I don't understand it. What I do understand is like both Mr. Beast and Ava as well, like way back in the day, were edgelords. Like they straight up were. Obviously, things change over the course of like a decade, but they 100% were like. I mean, I remember like seeing old videos before Ava realized that she was trans, of like them both making attack helicopter jokes. You know what I mean? Like they were classic like edgy white boys on the internet. Like they were. That was the way that they were operating for the most part. Of course, that wasn't a problem back then, and it's like now they're using it to be like, oh, see these guys, because like Ava is trans and Mr. Beast stood by her, that it's like now it's a problem, even though like the guys that are doing that are like defending Dr. Dre in the same breath. It's very weird. You can just say it's weird and gross, you know? It's okay.
Yeah,
without trying to like connect it.
How much coverage do you have to do about it?
Yeah,
like, Jesus Christ.
The funniest part was like there was like the person who's 20 now, right? Being like, oh, I wasn't groomed, like it wasn't like that. We're in the Discord, we were saying inappropriate and to one another. It's like, up, I get it. Everyone's saying like I was groomed or whatever, and then every response was, how much did Mr. Beast pay you? Idiot, you.
It would be funny if Mr. Beast bribed you, but he did it in the style of his videos.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pay you off, but you have to live in a Costco for a year.
Yeah. There's some weird Mr. Beast clips coming out about him joking about buying black people and gotten so weird. Yeah, no, like that's what I mean. Like he was edgy white boy doing that kind of before he became like this powerhouse.
This is the problem with everyone.
They're doing cancel culture on him because he stood by his trans friend. Like they're trying to punish him with the same exact way, because they were like, you didn't your best friend who's trans when we demanded you do so. So you now we're gonna cancel you with like, all your old videos.
People have just such like deliberately short memories too. I feel like my timeline, like the recognized timeline of like how things were on the internet, I feel like it's pretty easy to understand, right? Like, you know, let's say middle or end of the second Bush administration into like 2015. Like have you ever seen those old like Neil Patrick Harris, any old celebrity tweets? Michael Ian Black, Neil Patrick Harris, any of them.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like you go to any post that a celebrity made, a certain type of celebrity made from like 2011, and it's like what people think Eminem songs are like, where they're like, I'm gonna a dog.
Yeah.
And that was 100 retweets.
Yeah.
And then around 2014, you start like, you know, people were like, okay, we hate that. And now you, I don't know, you have to do videos about conspicuous malwiteracy. And then that was the thing for a while, and then it got rolled back. But like, I thought it was like a recognized thing that a lot of these people had like an edgelord, not even edgelord, that was just like the norm.
It was
for a while on the internet.
For the record, I was around back then. I thought it was gross back then too. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that like people weren't thinking that this was like weird and inappropriate to say or do even back then. It was. It's just that like people grow out of it. I think that a lot of people did grow out of it. And it's funny that people that didn't grow out of it, or rather lean into that right now in 2024, are the very same people who are being like, no, but you said that, now we gotta cancel you. And it's like, I can see your pose right now in between.
It's such a self-contradictory thing, right? Like getting like the I don't know what Mr. B said in like 2013 or whatever. He was probably like 9. He was probably like a viable fetus at that point. But he like saying like like dumb 2013 internet shit. Like while you're like yelling at him for that, your most recent retweet is like, I'm glad the cops killed that woman.
Yeah. In any case, like sadly you can't humiliate these people with hypocrisy. They lack shame. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, you know, I'm not like defending any of these old videos, Mr. Beast or anyone else, or like even the messages that Ava was sending. I will, however, reiterate that like if you're immediately going, see, I told you, trans people are groomers or pedophiles, then you're a weirdo, okay? A total weirdo. Mr. Beast was 13 in 2013. Yeah.
See? Yeah. No.
He wasn't 9, he was 13.
I, on the other hand, I support anything that anybody said in 2013. Anyone in chat, anyone who's famous, anyone who's not. I support all of it.
What? You grow out of being trans if you don't take sterilization drugs, you're the one saying that? Like, these guys don't even care, dude. Like, Ava could have murdered someone and they wouldn't give a about that. They'd be like, this is, I told you, all trans people are murderers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just immediately gave the game away. He's not like, oh, you're not even, you couldn't even sit there and like even for 3.5 seconds be like, I care about the victims and you don't or something. You know what I mean? Like immediately he's like, oh, what about these gender drugs that everyone's taking? Like, no, you're supposed to at least like posture like you give a shit about the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do. I think it's weird and gross for the record. It seems like you don't give a especially if it's like one of your favorite content creators doing it. Isn't Ava stuff made up? No, there's a lot of like misinfo out there. There's obviously, because they can't just like let it be weird and gross and definitely completely and utterly inappropriate. They just got to also make additional stuff, like make additional clips up in order to be like, no, see, like they're trying to, this person was trying to people, like 100% children.
It is weird to have like a minor in your Discord.
Yes.
I only think they should be employees.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, dude.
I don't have...
Make them work at the coal mines, dude. What are we doing?
I won't even have a social engagement with someone who's like 19, even if they're in my family. Even if they're like, can you come to my graduation for the Montessori school? No. But if you were 5 years younger, you could be my employee.
Yeah.
And I'd never speak to you. And you'd have to guess what your job is.
They don't actually care about the crimes committed. They just want to weaponize it to direct harassment towards you, Charlie, Pokey, etc. Yeah, that's like the funniest part because they just like immediately gave the game away when they just like, I guess a video came out. I didn't even watch this video. How the f am I supposed to keep up with like all the drama, especially like when world-changing events happening at a rapid clip and I'm a political commentator? And they basically, in a matter of like 3.5 seconds, went from like, if you didn't watch this video, summarize it and immediately start talking about how every trans person is a you are actually complicit in the crimes. Like they don't even do like the silence is violence narratives. Like silence is complicity. Like they didn't even do that. They're like, you are actually grooming children. Like what the like what are you talking about, dude?
Like, there is also like, do you remember those guys who were campaigning for Lee Zeldin in New York?
Yeah, the ones that go crime. That's what they're doing.
I always thought, like, don't get me wrong, Kathy Hochul, horrible candidate, terrible. Put her in ADX Florence with Matthew Miller. But like, I always thought that like that must have like turned people off of Zeldin because it makes it seem like you're happy that crime is happening.
Yeah,
like you're cheering. You're like, go crime. It's making this Kathy Molecule lady look bad. And it's the same thing here where it's like they're happy. Like they you know, they thought someone got groomed and they're like happy about it.
In your mind, you're looking at a situation and you're like a minor was predated on, okay? And your immediate reaction is not to like look at the situation, see what the actions were or whatever. And your immediate situation is like, this is really gross. And a lot of content creators are not talking about it because I made up my mind. They're all in on it. And it's like, I know XQC was one of those people like, yeah, they're too afraid to call out a trans person. Like they immediately invent like a narrative in their minds too. It's like, no, man, I don't like, there's no cover up or conspiracy. You're delusional. All those weirdos on Twitter can't help but turn drama into a team sport and act as everyone's taking sides. Yeah, I know. There has never been a moment in my life where I've seen like, I don't know, someone get shot at, right? Like Donald Trump gets shot at. And I immediately go, oh, like Brianna Wu, immediately go, oh, how can I make this about my least favorite content creator?
Yeah.
She did that with me. She was like, I don't know who like Trump got shot at. And like 30 minutes later, Brianna Wu was posting about how like I'm responsible for Trump getting shot.
I thought that was so crazy because the guy who, Thomas Crooks, the guy who shot at Donald Trump, he actually shot at Trump because he made a mobile game. And he was the same guy who tried to snipe Brianna Wu in 2015. The exact same sniper.
Yeah, that is the...
He just hates mobile games.
Yeah.
That guy cannot stand them. Don't try to sell him a mobile game. He'll freak out.
Do you think Biden is going to talk about the mass amounts of bird flu? No. If Biden doesn't address the Mr. Beast drama, he's complicit. Biden is actually doing this to address it.
Like, just let him do it. Try to tell him what happened and see what he says. Yeah. It would be so fun for everyone. I think it would like unite everyone. We need more things that like unite America.
Yeah. Oh, the other person was drama alert. When Trump got shot, they took my reaction to it and were like, Hassan Piker, low IQ political streamer, thinks that Donald Trump staged his own assassination. I was like, I'm not saying that at all in the clip. Like, why are you claiming that? And you put the full clip there. I'm not saying that at all. Like, how is this your first like thing? How is your first reaction?
I was thinking today that Keemstar is like, he's the closest thing we have to like a modern and real like Charles Foster Kane, Citizen Kane.
Who?
Keemstar? Yeah. Do you remember that video that we watched like 2 years ago where it was like covering, I forget what it was even covering, but you were involved, and it's like it showed like a short clip of you, and he went, as you can see, Hassan's a disgusting
on zone B.
Yeah.
Like his narration is so good.
Oh, this was awesome. He said he quote retweeted and said, if you support Hassan Piker, unfollow me. I don't F with any of you people at all. Why?
Damn, he's standing on business.
Yeah, because I'm not taking the Trump assassination seriously enough. It's like
capture zone contested.
I want to direct the Citizen Kane movie about him.
Yeah.
He thinks he's newsroom, but I think he's better.
What is this? Oh, this is from July 13th. Hassan Piker is so anti-American. Please ship to another country anywhere but here. He's literally falling off, so he's just clickbaiting for attention. I know. I'm falling off so spectacularly that I can only serve the top of the hour ad break to 50,000 people. It's just the fall off.
I didn't even see.
The fall off is so severe, dude. It's just really up. It's really bad. I'm sorry. Also, Hassan saying that Trump did it for views makes me laugh because Hassan has to expose his body for Twitch views.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have to leave the room so you can go jack off on cam.
That's right.
The thing you're always doing.
He's not wrong.
Hassan has signed an exclusive deal with Joystick. He's going to be doing the same political commentary you like, but the only camera will just be, it will be on a hole in his pants. Penis and balls. The same commentary, but that's all you're going to see.
That's what he's talking about. I have to expose
his dick and balls against a green screen. I love Biden speaking.
I love Jose Cuellar calling me a hussy. That's like, that's awesome. Thank you, sir. Mr. Beast update for the record. He's posted about the Ava Chris Tyson situation. Over the last few days, I've become aware of serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online. I'm disgusted and post such unacceptable acts. During that time, I've been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to move away from the company, my channel, and the association with Mr. Beast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings. Third party investigation? No, it's just like Mr. Beast is a massive international brand.
Yeah, this is the same thing that like ExxonMobil does. You hire a law firm that does an investigation, blah, blah, blah.
The thing is, Jimmy knew ChatGPT. No, this isn't ChatGPT. This is like an actual good lawyer. Like, no.
This is a lawyer that you don't get from Twitter.
Yeah, this is not Elon Musk style situation. Most written with legal advice ever. Yeah. So this is straight up like a swift exit. I mean, what else is he supposed to do? Yeah, I mean, I don't expect him to do anything else in this circumstance. Yeah, he's gonna conduct an investigation. I mean, it makes total sense given not only what the actions are, which is like weird text messages in a Discord server where there's like minors present. I think one of the minor who came out who's like now 20 was like, I was not predated on, I was not groomed, but it doesn't matter. Like the messages speak for themselves, and beyond that, the fact that Ava is trans, of course, does not help cause any sort of sympathy from anybody that looks at that, regardless, especially because it was like greatly boosted by a lot of people. It was greatly boosted by a lot of people that immediately jumped on it and be like, yo, this is every trans person is a groomer. Well, we got it. Like, we found it. Even if what she said wasn't gross, which I think what she did was gross for the record, but even if what she did wasn't even gross or inappropriate, weird, people would have still made this a PR nightmare regardless. And it happens to be a situation where it is like, it does absolutely hit the weirdness. The Shad allegations are an entirely different story. It's like, that's the type of that like I find personally unconscionable and gross, and it's like Lolly is completely unacceptable, except ain't nobody's taking down all these people who apparently were all associated with Shad. Like literally every content creator in the edgy meme space has been like associated.
Weird.
Yeah.
How does
like
it's like Ehud Barak going to Epstein's house. It's this thing where it's like, how can you need hentai this badly? Like how are you this hard up for like hentai? I don't even understand being into hentai in the first place, but like wanting it that bad that you're like talking to this guy. Like,
I think it was because like it's just clout, right? Like I think a lot of people don't give it. Keemstar has apparently been understandably on a tear against anyone that has done business with Shad because Shad drew sexual art. Yeah, that is perhaps almost equivalent to all of the other allegations and all of the other crimes that, from what I understand, this dude engaged in, which is making Keemstar a valid victim. Okay, because Keemstar absolutely is a valid victim in this situation. It is completely inexcusable. It is completely unacceptable. Like I can't even imagine how that is. Like how brain broken are you that you think that that is like remotely appropriate to do? It's not even edgy at that point. It's just like free.
I think any parent would have the exact same reaction, or at least I hope they would.
In 2017, Shadman was actually way more popular than anybody drawing Lolly should have been. In an unrelated note, that's when the Nazis were popping off as well. Yeah, isn't he also a Nazi? He's like a Nazi pedophile, right? Shad was arrested at one point for tracing CSAM to make Lolly. Jesus. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like I said, there are a lot of people who are looking at this to be like, see, I told you, all trans people are groomer, pedophiles, like the weirdos, whatever. And those guys are freaks. In the immediate aftermath of Dr. Disrespect's story, nobody went around and went, every white man is a pedophile freak, okay? Like, you have this weird tendency. A lot of people have this weird tendency when it's like a black person doing a crime. Oh, this is how all black people are, is like the immediate reaction. Whenever a marginalized community member does something that is inappropriate or, you know, completely illegal, right? Everybody jumps on the bandwagon to be like, everyone is responsible. Every person of this background has done this. And, you know, it didn't happen with Cody Co either. Ain't nobody ran around saying all white men are doing this. It doesn't even happen in terms of like all YouTubers in general, even though many YouTubers have been caught doing this kind of, or many streamers in general have been caught doing this kind of. It doesn't work that way. Obviously, when you're a marginalized person, you are absolutely held to a different standard. And that is precisely what people are trying to do. I'm not gonna lie, if you're an adult interacting with minors on Discord, Twitter, etc. on a daily basis is very weird. I agree.
Yeah.
It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Is that comment that Jimmy made about Bad Baby real? Yes, of course. That's the other side of the story, is that like he and Ava were like very 2016, 2014